There were times when I felt very, very low, and would wake up some mornings and it would just be bleak and dark. I can't explain very easily how that feels now because it doesn't happen so often or in such an intense way.
I couldn't go out through the door, to be honest with you, for a while, for quite a long while. Like, I just used to get dressed, go to the door, put my hand on the doorknob and go back into the sitting room.
I didn't care. I wouldn't commit suicide because it was too much of an effort. Really, I mean, you know, what are you going to do? It's going to be painful. Why bother? I'll just wither away. I was very selfish.
Working out that you need help is a challenge in itself. When you're feeling down, it can be the last thing you want to think about and deal with.
It took a long time to get to that moment, I think, because I'd always thought I had to be tough and I had to keep going because I was always the one that sort of held everyone together.
For me as a man, trying to challenge my mental health, my state of mental health, it was an embarrassment for me. And it was because I felt I was letting my family down. I had 2 young children, I had a mortgage to pay, I was in a very responsible job, and I wasn't able to keep control of my life.
I didn't want people to know. I felt embarrassed, ashamed.
I think getting my GP's help was a big step, and it wasn't a step I took on my own because it was my sister who got me to accept that things weren't right.
It's a huge step for people, and I think they probably put it off for too long. Mainly because of the stigma, I think. You don't know how your doctor's going to react.
And once I'd spoken to him and I felt that he was listening, that was a whole different ball game.
Going to see the GP is half the battle because I'd put it off and put it off. And I think once you have somebody that will listen to you talking about it, made me feel a lot better.
But it doesn't take away the embarrassment straight away. It doesn't take away the fear of the stigma that's going to come with it. And there is an awful lot of stigma attached to mental health disorders. You're constantly wary. How am I going to be accepted in work with this problem? How is the wider society going to accept me? Are they going to find out? Am I going to continue to hide it? And you do, to an extent, because for anybody who sees me from the outside, they probably think there's nothing wrong.
If you've got a broken leg, they can physically see that you've got a broken leg. But nobody will come up and say, how's your mental health today? We don't do it at all, none of us do. What's the first thing that comes into your head when people say mental health? And it's all the negative things, interestingly enough. It's stigma, it's depression, it's scary, lunatic, all the usual names that you can particularly think of. You cross off the word and put health down. And needless to say, everybody comes up with positive things. It's exercise, it's diet, it's all those kind of things.
Our mental health is just another aspect of our overall health. Seeking help is the first step towards getting better.
Open that door, open that box of demons or skeletons or whichever way you'd like to look at it. But unless you do, trust me, it won't go away, because it doesn't.
Unless you are prepared to accept that something isn't right, then you're not going to seek help. It's like somebody who knows they're overweight, but unless they're prepared to do something to change that, they'll continue to live the life they've been leading.
Feelings of shame, embarrassment, fear of taking medication, these things do stop some people from seeking help. But what I want you to know is that help can come in many different forms, and in the next film, we'll hear about practical things you can do to help yourself.
They sort of hide away in the house because they can't be seen because somebody from work might see them.
I know people with my illness that don't take any medication now.
You need to get out of the house.
The last thing you want to hear when you're really depressed is somebody telling you to pull yourself together, isn't it?